Welcome back to our takeaways episode. This is episode number 3. We are talking about camping versus glamping. Our first episode talked about the differences between camping and glamping. Episode 2 was about camping specifically, getting into those nitty-gritty details. And if camping's not for you, then this is definitely the episode that you're looking for. We're talking about glamping with Jimmy Hammond, my husband, and also my favorite travel companion. Thanks again for joining us.
You're welcome. Hi.
So when it comes to glamping, what is the reason that you choose to do it?
Choosing glamping, I think, just makes everything a little bit less stressful, a little bit more relaxing, and like really kind of just enjoy something different.
Yeah, so it's about sort of like your ability to get away, but knowing that you've still got all of those safety measures.
Nets.
Yeah. So I think in some of our other episodes, we've talked about creating a safe zone. And while with camping, that can be really peeled back and you can kind of feel a little vulnerable. When we're glamping, it's a little bit easier. There's, things like
privacy.
Yeah, phone service. We've got electricity. And we've got those things around us that can make us feel comfortable. So what kind of things do you like to make sure that you travel with when you're glamping, or what reasons would you glamp?
Like having aircon, and hot showers, and a flushable toilet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for myself, when we first discovered that, you had the change of injury level, and that meant that everything that we were doing with a camper sort of ended up changing. We found that being able to reach the ground and some of the stuff that we were able to normally do, we can't do anymore. So finding a place to just practice, you don't have to be too far away from home. You can still give glamping a go. You can still check out, you can still get back to basics, but it's like a safe place that you could do that.
Yeah, I think you're so right on that. Like glamping is a lot more luxurious than just camping. You do have a little bit more freedom. You don't have to think as much, but you are just testing the waters. Just things are a little bit different, which is good. Like, you still get great experiences from glamping, I think,
I think too, so when it comes to you choose a place that you'd like to go, and I know there's so many different places. There's, holiday parks and farm stays. You can take a caravan or camper with you like we would, or maybe you can hire a glamping tent. There's so many different ways that you can do it, still being able to have like 240 volts, so you can still charge all your equipment. You can have the different spaces set up for the people that you're taking with you. So we can just pop up a tent for the kids, and then we've got our camper. There's so many options. So with your first glamping experience after you had your latest injury, what were some of the deciding factors as to where you were going?
One of the biggest deciding factors for myself was, like now with my level of injury being different, I have to incorporate cares into my daily routine.
Yeah. So,
it's really tricky at first because it was just like, how do I incorporate my cares and get away at the same time? It was kind of scary because at the same time, like going on a family holiday, in my mind, I was like, I don't want to take carers. Like, I want this to be family orientated. I don't want an extra person.
Yeah.
I think our first experience of glamping, after that injury was having the ability of not going too far from home to a holiday park, so we can incorporate, my cares would come there every morning and then leave. So, it would give great quality time with family and not having an extra person with us around the clock.
When we found out that we could find somewhere close that would work for us and make it work, that it did give us those, the 26 hours, the 22 hours outside of having the support workers there, that made it just a normal family holiday.
Oh, definitely. It still gave us the privacy of being able to have that family orientated holiday, and not only just having the children there, but like if you have to take someone else with you, then that's another person you have to be considerate of all the time. So it was just nice to kind of be able to practice that and not be too far away.
It really sort of helped with that planning as well. When you're talking about having those support workers, just before they would leave their shift, they're like, is there anything else we could do? I'm like, oh yeah, can you reach this? Can you also help with that? So we did find those things that we couldn't do ourselves during this glamping experience, that we ended up getting a support worker to help just before they finished a shift.
Yeah,
and then we could, the next time we're going out, we can go, okay, well, we weren't able to do that ourselves, and so we have to figure out a different way to do it. So, it helped build up a lot more confidence with both of us.
Yeah, definitely. It helped so much, like with being able to be like, right, this stepping stone is kind of done. So, like, what can we improve? What can, like, now I can see that we can do this,
You can empty a toilet cartridge.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was always fun, like.
It's part of camping. It's part of glamping.
I know.
So one of the biggest differences that I can see when it comes to glamping that I've realized is the difference in how we strategize to go away for the weekend. So, we've got a camper, and we've hired a caravan as well, like a massive caravan that was accessible. Both of them have beautiful inner spring mattresses, so I don't have to worry about all of my skin integrity or having.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot less stress across the board. Like with what you're packing. A lot of times, like, because you're packing more for relaxation. I think. You're packing all the things for good times, and all the creature comforts of home. They're absolutely brilliant. And I think, also glamping, a lot of the places you go, you don't necessarily have to worry about cooking your own food. You can actually get food provided while you're there. So you're not having to worry too much about, right, what food are we taking? What, like, there's everything still there, like, meanwhile, when you're going away roughing it, you got to make sure that you pack everything, all your food, because you're not going to get food otherwise.
Yeah.
So I think, like in the camper and in the caravan, like, it's a lot easier. The way we put everything in there, you can just throw it in the van, and you're able to get in the van and get whatever you need out of the cupboard. You're not having to strategically pack a trailer or pack the back of your car.
Yeah.
It's everything's at your fingertips, really.
Oh, definitely. Knowing when you get there, if all else fails, you can go up to the office, order a pizza, or you have those things to do for the kids or for anyone. You can plug in, you take a lead, you can plug in your power chair, you can still take a sleep apnea machine, you can still do all of that. It just means that you're sort of peeling back the stress of an environment rather than peeling back all of the things that you need.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And you are there in the one spot for a longer period of time. So you're actually just kicking back, enjoying the sun, the pool, just watching everything go by.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, I think, some of the things that I love the most. Okay, so what has been your favorite glamping experience?
My favorite would have to be the Big Fours, because it's so heavily family orientated. Water park's accessible. I get hit with a water bucket with all the kids in there. Like, absolute my favorite.
I think for myself, like, I like going to the farm stays, sort of heading out west. You can really sort of check out of the whole city life, but at the same time, you're so close to everything, and they've got, like, there's still the ability to, make a meal. And yeah, the nightlife is just amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your experiences camping versus glamping. If you've got anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, definitely. You're welcome. I think, the end of the day, whatever you put your mind to, you can do. So just get out and have a crack and see how good it is.
I hope the information that you've had here today has given you the opportunity to choose whether it's camping that's for you or that's glamping that's for you. If you want any more information, you can go to spinal.com.au. Otherwise, we would love to see some of the videos and photos of you camping or glamping. Thanks for joining us.